decided it's time for this to become an ASMR channel. Gaming is fun and all, and making videos about gaming is fun, but I've decided to leave that style of content behind and instead make ASMR videos. Another big announcement I have is that I've decided to start an OnlyFans. It'll be the top link in the description. Over on my OnlyFans, you can expect to see big booby pictures and pictures of my toes. I also have some lingeries on the way, so you'll be able to see me dressing up in those as well. As for the channel, well, just good old ASMR, baby. Am I even doing it right? Do people like the finger fluttering? I don't even know how to do it right. I'm actually kind of decent at this. Shit, sorry. Got a manual here. I bet you guys haven't seen one of these in a while. Look at this, there's a bunch of cool flyers in here. I had this game back in the day, like, oh my gosh, probably like 15 years ago. And yet, I never looked at all the flyers that they had inside of it. Man, this is a trip down nostalgia lane. Look at this. DK Jungle Climber, Zelda Phantom Hourglass. Do you guys even remember these games? I bet some of my audience weren't even alive when the DS came out, which honestly makes me feel like a fossil. Speaking of the DS, I actually have it here with me, so I'll take it out and, I don't know, I guess I'll tap that. Also, it's been a while since he's made a cameo, but here's Pikachu for anybody that's been missing him. Pika. I'm just gonna put Pikachu right back over here so you guys can at least see him in the background. Now, I have this massive DS case, and it used to be filled with games. However, I sold my DS and all of the games that I had for it back in 2019. However, when I worked at Subway, I used one of my checks and bought like a bunch of DS games and a new DS. However, this is the same DS case that I've had since I was a little kid. I never got rid of the DS case as well as the actual case that goes over the DS, which I'll be showing you guys in a second, but first let's unzip it. So we got the classic charger right here. Man, I get so much nostalgia just looking at the charger. Oh, and I also have a GBA game in here somewhere. I have this bag that is just full of styluses. And then as you can see, you can like keep your games in there. Ah, I found the GBA game, only OGs will remember this one. Star Wars Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith on the GBA. The versions on the GBA and the DS were essentially the same game, but both of those versions were actually different from the console counterparts that released around the same time, those being on the Xbox and the PS2. Another thing worth noting that I own is this portable Sega Genesis Mini. It essentially comes with like 50 or 60 games on it or something like that, but it's got like Mortal Kombat, Sonic the Hedgehog 1, 2, 3, Knuckles, CD. It's got a whole bunch of games on it. I love this thing. I take it with me anytime that I'm like traveling or going away for a couple of days. I'm quite the variety gamer. Like some days I'm playing Atari, other days I'll be playing PS2, some days I'll be playing newer releases on like, you know, Xbox One and PS4 and such, or other times I'll be playing on my, you know, my DS or other things like that. I actually have a bunch of retro mobile devices that I keep on hand just in case I ever, you know, want to revisit some of the older mobile games that have since been delisted. For example, I have an iPod Touch 4th generation sitting in my drawer. I keep it for things like the classic Angry Birds, Resident Evil 4, the Dead Space mobile game, another game called 9mm, which was a lot of fun back in the day, Urban Crime, some of the Iron Man movie games. Those were all games that were released only on mobile, but have since been delisted due to licensing issues. But I keep retro, or I guess I'll call them retro, which honestly I kind of hate having to call them retro because that makes me feel old because I can vividly remember when those were releasing. But anyway, I have the iPod Touch 4, and then I also want to buy a iPad Mini 1st generation because it can also run those delisted games. There was also other ones I liked, like the Amazing Spider-Man movie tie-in games that were on iOS and Android. Those were actually really good games, as well as Dark Knight Rises. That was almost like Arkham, but on mobile. I actually highly recommend looking into that one. It's The Dark Knight Rises on mobile. It's a very good game, actually. It would be hard to get your hands on it nowadays, considering it's being delisted, but there's probably ways to find it online, like with different ISOs and DLL files. Anyways, we got the DS here. I'll play it for you guys. I'll try to keep it, a decent distance away so I don't blow anyone's eardrums out, but so much nostalgia. I actually have this really cool card on my DS, which I'll show off to you guys. It's essentially 248 games inside of one cartridge. So I don't know what you guys can see here, but I'll just scroll through here. Like, we have all of the Pokemon games that were released on the DS, as well as other things like all of the Mario and Luigi games that were released on DS. So like I said, we have all the Mario games like New Super Mario Bros., Mario Kart, Super Mario 64, the Mario and Luigi games, which are more like RPGs, I guess. And we got the Mario vs. Donkey Kong games, Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games. We have Yoshi, Touch and Go, Tetris, all the Kirby games, Harvest Moon, Rune Factory, Castlevania, Dragon Quest, Dragon Ball, Sonic Classic Collection, the Mega Man Zero Collection, which that is one of my favorite collections on the DS. Huge fan of Mega Man, especially Zero. Then we have some other random titles like Ice Age 4, but then we get back into the main line like Nintendo games like Zelda. We got The Sims 3, Crash Mind Over Mutant, Crash Boom Bang, Monster Tale, Legend of Cage, Ragnarok Online. Like, there's a lot of games on here. All of the Final Fantasy games that were on DS as well. The list goes on and on and on, but I picked this up for about $15 on Amazon. So if you're looking for a quick way to collect for the DS, obviously it's not as official as buying CIB games like I typically would for, any other console, but considering the fact that a lot of the games that can be found on this collection are actually rather rare and would cost upwards of like $100 to $200 on their own, I decided just to get this card for now until my money situation is a bit better to collect some of these games separately. But this is definitely a great alternative to bolster your collection of DS games up rather quickly. I'm sorry that my real voice has kind of been breaking through my whispers throughout the video. It's hard for me to whisper for long periods of time. I'm sure I'll get used to it as this ASMR channel journey goes along. Oh, and this is also the case that I was talking about. It's like a Nerf case. I've had this since I was, oh god, I don't even want to know. It's been at least a decade, maybe a decade and a half at this point, but love this DS. And again, this isn't the original DS I had. I sold my original DS to GameStop back in 2019 so I could afford to pre-order Modern Warfare 2019. Huge mistake, by the way. Modern Warfare 2019 was an amazing game, don't get me wrong, but I do regret selling my DS. I wish I would have, just, I don't know, went and mowed some lawns or did something else for some quick cash instead. But maybe it was for the better because my old battery in that DS was actually, dying, so. And furthermore, the D-pad wasn't really working right. Like, the buttons were a little mushy, so maybe it was a blessing in disguise. Little plastic bag ASMR here. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Well, my friends, I have been recording for a little while. Man, I really can't flutter. I'm gonna have to learn that before I make another ASMR video. But anyways, I hope you guys are excited for this new direction for the channel. Just, full of ASMR videos. Don't forget to check out my OnlyFans linked at the top of the description to, go see my OnlyFans stuff. But anyway, as always, a shout out to the patrons and channel members. Comments, favorite, Carmelo, Lobody, Tab, Big Dan, Manny, Lubosaurus Rex, Razak, Polo, Ray, Webster, Lamont, Bianca, Spiritory, Drip, Kassan, Mellow, Last King, Reno, Match, Mason, Vintage, Y15, Fleming, 71, Aaron Reynolds, and Unknown. Thank you guys for watching. Have an amazing day. Stay beautiful. I love you all. Oh, and before the video ends, April Fools. This was all obviously just an April Fools joke, well, for the most part, so the channel will continue to be gaming content. Obviously, there won't be, only ASMR videos going forward. However, the OnlyFans wasn't a joke. That is indeed very real, so